Dear students, once again I welcome you to the online classes organized by ISP. Dear students, we are studying the subject of research methodology. Let us connect our today's lecture to our previous knowledge. Dear students, we have gone a long way when we started our journey. However, you know that in last 3 or 4 lectures, we are now into the practical phase of this component of our course. In the previous lectures, dear students, we have defined the methodologies, then we have defined the methodologies with special reference to literature and linguistics, and then we moved forward to enter into this practical phase, and we learned how to state hypotheses, how to state statement problem, and right from the previous lectures we are trying to learn how to formulate research questions. Dear students, these 3 aspects, that is hypothesis, then problem statement, and now research questions, these are the practical aspects of what we are trying to learn, because all these three are the part of our research proposal as well as our research thesis. So that is why I call them and nominate them as the practical aspect of our course of research methodology. Dear students, in the previous lecture, we tried to calculate and we tried to guess from where the research questions come. Then we studied the resources from which these research questions can be formulated. And one of the most helping source that we have found for the formulation of the research question was the review of previous literature concerning and relevant to our research area and research topic. Dear students, at the end of the previous lecture, we also studied the types of research questions. And we noted that there are certain research questions which can be descriptive, others can be explanatory, and still others can be evaluative research questions. Now, this is our second lecture on the topic of research questions. And in today's lecture, we will try to learn types of research questions. We have just touched the types, that is descriptive, explanatory and evaluative, in the previous lecture. Today, we are going to study thoroughly the types of research questions. Then at the end we will discuss some important points about research questions. And dear students, as usual, I would like to set an exercise for you at the end of our lesson. Now, what are the types of research questions? I have taken some examples as well in order to make you understand these types. And I have tried my best to take these examples from literature as well as from linguistics. So the first one are primary and secondary research questions. Now, some research questions might be more important than others in terms of the focus of the study or simply the quality and or quantity of data collected, selected or elicited to address a given research question. Now, what kind of these research questions might be? We might have, for example, 2 or 3 research questions. Out of these 2 or 3 research questions, some research questions might be more important because they may have full focus on our research area and research topic. Or quality wise they are better. Or they focus the data collected. They focus the quantity of data collected or selected or elicited. So these questions become, from this angle, we can say that some are the question of primary nature and others are of secondary nature. For example, what is the ideology working behind the novels of Tariq Ali? We know Tariq Ali is well-known Pakistani novelist and he has written many novels. So what we are trying to make a research question about that, about his novels, is what is the ideology working behind the novels of Tariq Ali? So this is a primary kind of question that we are asking about the novels of Tariq Ali. The second type is main and contribute. So it means that there would be certain question which can be called the main question, and the other questions would be contributing to that main question. Now, it may not be possible to answer your main research question until an earlier research question has been answered. It is sometimes, and we will see in the example, it happens that you have set a main question and then you have set 2 to 3 other questions. But sometimes it happens that first you have to answer the contributory questions, and then you will answer those contributory questions, then you will come to the main question. For example, now you will see here, does Elizabeth proves herself a strong female character? Now, keep your focus on the question. Now, Elizabeth, we know, is one of the characters of Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice. So, our question is, does Elizabeth prove herself a strong female character? So, it allows us to other main research questions. For example, if Elizabeth is a strong character, why might this be? And if Elizabeth is not a strong character, why might this be? Right from this one main question, we can elicit 2 sub-questions. The main question is, does Elizabeth prove herself a strong female character? Now, if Elizabeth is a strong character, why might this be? What are the reasons of her strength? What are the reasons behind her strength? And if she is not a strong character, why she is not a strong character? What are the reasons behind her weakness? So first we will search for the secondary or the contributory questions. We will search the answer of the contributory question, and when we will find the answer of these contributory questions, our main question will be answered automatically. So this is the main and contributory kind of questions. Another type is overarching subordinate questions. 2 or more research questions might be grouped hierarchically under a higher one, which together they address. So this is overarching a subordinate question. That is, sometimes two or more research questions might be grouped hierarchically under a higher one, which together they address. So sometimes there is one higher kind of question or umbrella kind of research question, and then two or more research questions or sub-research questions. These might be grouped under that umbrella kind of research question. This umbrella kind of research question is known as overarching research question, and the other questions which are grouped under this umbrella question are known as subordinate question. For example, overarching research question is: what are some differences in the way Dickens and Hardy portray their characters? We know both of these gentlemen. These are very famous English novelists, Dickens and Thomas Hardy. So the question is, what are some differences in the way Dickens and Hardy portray their characters? This is overarching question. Now, subordinate research question 1. How are the social actors shape the characters of both Dickens and Hardy? Of course, how are the social actors shape the characters? And the second subordinate research question is: which writer makes use of the social actors? Now, the overarching question was: what are the differences in the way Dickens and Hardy portray their characters? Then, first research question was: what are the social actors that shape the characters? And the second is: which writer makes use of the social actors? The overarching question cannot be operationalized as it stands, but can be operationalized through the two subordinate research questions. So first we will find the answer of these subordinate questions, that is the social actors affecting the characters, which writer makes use of the social actor, and then we will move forward towards the first question. And the first question is: what is the difference in the portrayal of the characters between Hardy and Dickens? So sometimes we have to go first for the subordinate question, because when we give or find the answer of these subordinate questions, automatically we have to move towards the overarching question. Now, another type of research question is empirical or methodological or theoretical. While your research question will probably be largely aimed at producing empirical findings concerning, for example, part of the language system, an aspect of language use, language learning, teaching, you may also be interested in the investigative process itself. And what is that investigative process? An example of a methodological research question might be: are field notes made by the researcher an effective way to investigate code switching in workplace? Now, look at this definition of empirical or methodological research question. Mostly, we try to find the answer of the research question, and these our findings or our answers are mostly of empirical nature, experimental nature. For example, we have taken some examples here. We are trying to study some part of the language system, or how the people are using some aspect of language. Or what is the process, some kind of process of language learning and teaching. That is empirical kind of, that would be empirical kind of findings. Then, a methodological research question might be, what kind of methodology that we are going to use. It means that if we set a research question concerning about methodology, or we are referring towards the methodology, then such kind of research question would be called methodological research question. And here we have taken an example, our field notes. We know that field notes is a kind of tool used by the researcher for collection of data. Are field notes made by the researcher an effective way to investigate code switching in workplace? So we are trying to find the answer of a question which contains or which is questioning about a methodology. That is why we will call it a methodological research question. Another possibility might be, can critical discourse analysis, that is CDA, be usefully applied to the talk of preschool children? Now again we have referred towards a methodology. We know critical discourse analysis is an approach or methodology that we are trying to use. So as it is referring towards an approach of research or methodology of research, that is why it would be a methodological research question. Similarly, methodologies like field notes or CDA in these two research questions have been highlighted. However, if you are doing something innovative or otherwise interesting methodologically, for example, combining two approaches which are not usually combined, this could constitute an intellectual contribution of your study. If so, it may be worth promoting this aspect of your methodology to the status of a research question. Now, what we are trying to say, if you have proposed to do or you have proposed to use such kind of methodology which is of unique, which has not been used previously, which is an innovative kind of methodology that you are using. And we have taken an example here. You are combining two approaches, and by combining these two approaches you are going to use in your research. This is some new experiment. This is a kind of innovation. Now, as you are making an innovation, it will contribute into the field of research intellectually. It is going to make some contribution because you are experimenting with a very new kind of methodology. Now, if you have such kind of methodology, then it should be promoted. And one way of promoting it, to base your research question on this methodology. So, for example, we can take an example. Sometimes a CDA we know is one of the approach and corpus linguistics is another approach. So, if you are using both corpus linguistics and CDA in your research, it means that you are making an experiment and you are mixing up two kind of methodologies. It is a kind of contribution towards research, and you can use this synergy, this combination of two methodologies. You can mention it in your research question and it will naturally get promotion. So, such kind of questions would be called methodological research questions. Then the theoretical research questions. Theoretical research questions are likely to refer both to theoretical concepts and their deployment in empirical research. So such kind of research questions would be called theoretical research questions because they are referring toward theoretical concepts, some kind of literary theory for example, and then these are going to be used as a tool in empirical research. We have taken an example here. What is a theoretical framework within which Pakistani children's English writing can be analyzed and described? This is a research question and it is asking about a theoretical framework within which Pakistani children's English writing can be analyzed and described. So it is asking about a theoretical framework. That is why it is called a theoretical research question. So these are the three types of research question, that is empirical, then methodological, and the third one was theoretical. Another type of research question is researcher generated or participant generated research question. Sometimes the researcher includes research questions in his or her research which are raised by the participants of the research. For example, you are going to have a research, ethnographic research, and you are into that community where you are going to proceed with your research. You become a part of that community in order to make observations, and during this process of research, there are certain questions raised by the participants, the members of that community about which you are trying to research. So if you make those questions raised by that community or the participants, you set them as research questions, then these would be called researcher generated or participant generated research questions. There is another type of research questions as well, and that is empirical and speculative. Some research questions, for example, may need to be speculative, based upon speculation, rather than empirical, perhaps informed by the answers to empirical questions in combination with your own professional or other insight. So what is empirical or speculative research question? Sometimes you base your research question on some speculation, and these are not based upon normally as we used to do on some experiment, or these are not based on our empirical knowledge. So these kind of speculative questions which are based upon the guess, upon the estimate, and you think that your professional or other insight and knowledge will help you to find the answers of such questions, these kind of questions are known as speculative research questions. Now, we must keep in mind some important points. Number one, research questions should constitute a coherent whole, explicitly related to each other. That is very important, because there should be coherence among your research questions, and they should be related to each other. It means that it should not happen that your one question is directed in one direction and the second one is directed to the opposite direction. That will make the things complicated and complex for you when you enter into the arena of research. So they should have coherence and there should have a very clear cut relationship among one another. Second, research questions should be in sequence and in hierarchy. We have already mentioned it in our previous lecture that you should note what should be your question number 1 and what should be your question number 2 and so on. So sequence and hierarchy should be checked before setting them as research question number 1 to so on. The relationship between the research questions should be clear to allow a reader to understand them. That is also important because the readers would read your research question and your research question should be of such nature that the reader might understand. Then, every content word in a research question matters. So do not take them lightly because what you are going to write in your research questions, it would be questioned by the reader. It would be questioned by the examiner as well. So be focused and be careful when you write the words, the language of a research question. Dear students, that's all from me, and today we have tried to grip and understand the types of research questions. And we have seen that there are so many research questions like primary, secondary, main, contributory, empirical, methodological and theoretical, and so on. We should keep in mind these types of research questions because tomorrow you will have to set such kind of research questions about your topic. So when we will keep all these types of research questions in our mind, it would be easier for us and we will feel comfortable in setting such kind of research questions. Now, we come to the last part of our lesson, that is exercise. And exercise is based upon what we have learned just now. What are the types of research questions? Elaborate with examples. Dear students, the topic of research questions is just coming to an end, and hopefully we will move forward towards another aspect of the practical phase of our component of course. Hopefully you will be trying to focus yourself on this practical aspect or practical phase of our course because we are moving towards writing a research proposal and we are moving towards giving and setting a design of our research in future. So we will try to write a research proposal at the end of our component of course, and what we are reading, whether it was hypothesis or it was a problem statement and now research questions, these are the part of that research proposal. That's all from my side for today. Stay safe, stay blessed.